And they say the noise causes cancer. You tell me that one, okay? You know, the thing makes it so... And, of course, it's like a graveyard for birds. If you love birds, you'd never want to walk under a windmill because it's a very sad, sad sight. It's like a cemetery. We put a little... It's called...
What the hell was that all about? Can we break that down real quick, Jack?
Yeah.
First off, if you have a windmill or a wind turbine on your property or near your property values just went down 75%. Where's the proof? Where's
Totally
the proof?
baseless, out your ass horse shit.
Yeah.
Number two, and I think this is even more amazing. Last week we talked about the libs are going to take away your hamburgers, right?
A couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah. Is that much crazier than the noise is going to give you cancer from a windmill? Hey, listen. The Onion feels absolutely defensive. They have never written anywhere nearly as brilliantly as speak out of Trump's mouth.
Jack, you and I need to call and make appointments for the oncologist. Anytime we get near the windmills in Holland, we go over there for tulip time. Oh, boy. You better avoid Holland during tulip time or any time of the year. They got windmills. I'm sure the cancer rate is just out of control in the city of Holland, Michigan.
Is this the clip where he goes on to say that what happens when the wind stops? You can't tout all this wind power because the wind stops.
Oh, no, he said that in Grand Rapids, too. He said that in Grand Rapids last week. You know, when the wind stops, you can't watch your TV.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This moron doesn't know how wind energy works, or he's trying to sucker the other rubes that listen to him into believing this garbage.
And he can't even pronounce the word origin. It comes out orange. I have disagreed with many political viewpoints of presidents in my lifetime, but Darren, I've never seen one who couldn't present a cogent and respectful news conference or speech. This guy is a clown. How do you compare the speeches of John F. Kennedy? How do you compare the speeches of FDR? For that matter, Bush looks like a Rhodes Scholar compared to Trump. This is a level of carnival talk that's down. It's in the front seat of a Confederate flag pickup truck with beer cans on the floor, rolling down the highway. That's where this talk belongs.
I want to keep going here. Let me continue.
Release it. May be the dumbest program in the history of the world. You catch them and you release them. Oh, they're wonderful. We've done a great job. And then you're going to come back, sir, in 4 years from now, January 14th. You're going to come back and we're going to give you a trial to see whether or not you can stay. But in the meantime, we're releasing you into our country. Now, only 2% come back for the trial, okay? And those are not the smartest ones, to be honest with you. The ones that come back are not the smartest ones. The 98% are much smarter than the 2% that come back.
Where's he getting those statistics? Is he just pulling them out of the air?
Oh, wait a minute. You mean out of the air where the poor birds are being slaughtered by these windmills?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a guy who separated thousands of children wailing out of their parents' arms. And he's worried about the starlings being hit by these windmills.
Wind turbines, yeah. Unbelievable. Here, let me continue.
Now, I'm only afraid that we're going to be too hard on the Green New Deal, and they're not going to do it because I want them to do it. We don't want to have them knock it out before we get to run against it. So let's take it easy. I'm actually saying it's a wonderful thing. The Green New Deal, done by a young bartender, 29 years old. If they beat me with the Green New Deal, I deserve to lose. So.
Yeah. I hope you do lose, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Oh, let's did he get with Lee Chatfield to write that speech there about the 29-year-old bartender?
They don't write any speeches. They have
misogynistic, orange-skinned bastard. That's what you are, Donald.
Yeah, you know, the words and the superlatives, you run out after a while with Trump. You just flat out run out.
Well, they haven't run out over at HuffPost. Listen to this. This is by S.V. Dale. It was posted April 3rd. Donald Trump's recent confusion with words and facts, including about his own father, could be signs of pre-dementia and deteriorating cognitive skills. That, according to mental health experts who are sounding the warning on this. Bandy Lee, a professor of psychiatry at Yale University who's been waving red flags about Trump's mental state for years, said this, quote, "The Tim Apple episode a few weeks ago, his calling Venezuela a company, and then yesterday confusing his grandfather's birthplace with his father, mispronouncing oranges for origins, and stating out of the blue, 'I'm very normal.' There is no question he needs an examination." End of quote.
You want to talk about prescience. You know what prescience means? Here's some prescience. This is Orwell, 1984. He was a fattish but active man of paralyzing stupidity, a mass of imbecile enthusiasms, one of those completely unquestioning, devoted drudges on whom, more ever than on the thought police, the stability of the party depended. And then there's a picture of Trump with his face bloated up like a blowfish. And, you know, that's your dictator. That is your fascist in chief right now. Mm-hmm. I stood down by the red hats just a week ago. I challenged them. You know, all these guys had their military hats on, and I was on such and such a battleship. I said, hey, do you have any x-rays of Donnie's little bone spurs? The bone spurs on the bottom of his feet. Mm-hmm. Now, it's kind of like whistling into a cave. When you whistle in a cave, it's like a deep chasm of just how you say something cogent, and you can hear the echo in their empty brain looking at me like, what are you saying? What I'm saying is your commander-in-chief is a coward. Mm-hmm. He's an absolute lying coward. Mm-hmm. You have to push back. You can't just sit and let him keep this crap up. There's people who've given up. I talked to them. Yeah. They've accepted where we're at. You've got to put your finger in the dam. You've got to fight right now like never before. The idiocy that's taking us over has got to be challenged. The birds, the windmill, his father, the origins. My God.
It is.
What do kids think? What does a kid think in the 6th grade?
I don't know. I just don't know. It's crazy.
We had to memorize, the quotes of John F. Kennedy. Not ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We wrote them. We put them up over the chalkboard. Mm-hmm. When I was in grade school, what are you going to put up for Trump over the chalkboard? I wanted to F her, so I grabbed her by the and you can do that because if you're famous, you can just flat out do that. Is that the quote you're going to stick around the 6th grade classrooms?
Must be. I don't know. All right, we got to get to our next segment, Jack, and in order to do that, we got to play the appropriate music.
Hammer time.
Oh, yeah, it's hammer time. As if we haven't hammered enough people, it's time for Douchebag of the Week, and once again, we left it up to our listeners to vote on this. We put up a poll for one day and asked who should be the winner of this week's Hammer Time Award. Our runner-up with 29% of the vote, Representative Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican of Oklahoma. During a debate on health care, he called out Representative Ben Ray Lujan, Democrat of New Mexico. When Lujan tried to respond to him, Mullen told him to shut up. I'm not yielding my time on the floor. Yeah. Mark Wayne Mullen is a past winner of Douchebag of the Week. He's the guy that 2 years ago said that the idea of his constituents paying his salary is complete BS. Well, obviously, not only has he not learned from it, apparently his voters never learned from it because they reelected him. But the winner this week by a landslide, 71%, conspiracy theorist, host of InfoWars, Alex Jones, for blaming psychosis for the Sandy Hook conspiracy theories he's been pushing for years. Yeah, the only reason he's trying to use psychosis as an excuse is he's about ready to get his ass sued into bankruptcy. Have fun there, Alex. So to Alex Jones, for making a mockery of mental illness by using psychosis as an excuse to try and get out of a lawsuit, we have this message for you.
Don't be a douchebag.
That's right. You need to stop being a douchebag. He can't be one anymore on YouTube. They've taken him off the air. I think they've banned his Twitter account, haven't they? I don't know. They've been kicking him off all sorts of places.
Dan, I just have to ask you, were the two nominees down in Arkansas a couple young men that sat on a couch and shot each other with guns at close point-blank range?
Oh, geez.
Because they had a new vest. Were they even in running?
No, they weren't.
Honorable mention?
No, they're not honorable mention, but they're going to be the off-the-cuff segment for this week. Yeah, you got to read it to believe it, folks. This is by Tracy Neal at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. This is out of Bentonville. A tall tale about protecting an asset turned out to be a yarn involving two men who donned a bullet-resistant vest and shot each other, according to a probable cause affidavit. 50-year-old Charles Eugene Ferris and 36-year-old Christopher Hicks were arrested Monday in connection with aggravated assault. They were released on citation from the Benton County Jail Tuesday morning. The sheriff's deputy Dorian Hendricks went to Mercy Hospital at about 11 p.m. Sunday evening to investigate a man who had been shot multiple times while wearing a bullet-resistant vest. Hendricks interviewed Ferris, who had a red spot on his chest. Ferris told the deputy he had been shot 6 times, once in the chest, 5 in the back, while protecting a man he called his asset. However, Ferris's wife, Leslie, told a much different story. She said her husband was on the deck of their house in Rogers, Arkansas.
I know it well. I lived down there for a while.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
She said Ferris was drinking with their neighbor Hicks when she heard a gunshot. She went outside and saw her husband had a mark on his chest. He later complained about the injury, and she told him to go to the hospital. Ferris admitted he made up the story because he didn't want to get Hicks in trouble. Ferris said that he and Hicks had been on the deck drinking. Right there.
Yeah. No,
alcohol and guns don't mix,
You're talking
folks.
the mecca of redneck insanity down there. Harris, which is 15 miles from there, Harrison, Arkansas, is the grand seat of the KKK. And if you go south of Rogers by 10, you're in the empire of Walmart. That's their biggest, that's the center, just outside of Fayetteville.
Oh, jeez.
They're as bad as Kentucky, where the governor just signed a bill outlawing sex between people and animals. Arkansas will follow up
they need to do that in Kentucky. I know some of those people down there.
Too late, huh?
Wow. Oh, gosh. That's going to wrap things up for this week. We'll be back next week. I'm Darren Gibson.
I'm Jack Prince.
For our announcer, Kristen Cook, please be kind to each other, support independent media, and support the First Amendment.
The stations that carry Southpaws do not necessarily share the opinions expressed on the show. Southpaws is protected by the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and is copyrighted by Big D Entertainment. All rights reserved.